I have not been this excited for a non-guitar related plugin in my entire life. What's up everyone? Today we're going to be taking a look at a plugin called Oblivion from the folks over at Heavyocity. Now Oblivion was crafted and created in collaboration with David Levy, who has done numerous amounts of work on different titles that you would love and know, like Injustice, Red vs. Blue, and most especially Doom Eternal. And that's exactly what was made in mind with this plugin, the Doom Eternal sound. That is essentially what this plugin is in a nutshell, among many other things, but it was crafted and created with the Doom Eternal sound and David Levy's style in mind. Now there is a whole lot to this plugin. It goes deep, wide, and far, and I am no professional with a synthesizer whatsoever. I've got a very general idea of it, but all I know is the stuff I've heard created with this plugin sounds so awesome, and if you love the Doom soundtrack, the Doom Eternal soundtrack, you're gonna love this plugin. So there's a lot to get into with this plugin. I'm probably going to miss a whole lot of stuff, and there's a lot of things to touch on, so I'm going to do my best to get to every single aspect and explain it as best as I can. So without further ado, as always, let's jump into an overview of what is offered in this plugin. So when you open up Oblivion in Contact, this is what you are met with. This is the UI. I think it looks really great. It's got an orange and teal look, which is something I really love as a filmmaker, and it just fits the dark synthy aggressive vibe 100%. This whole plugin just looks beautiful. It sounds beautiful. It's a really amazing plugin. So with that being said, there are two main sections of this plugin, as you can see with the large list of these presets and sounds here on the left hand side. But there are two main sections to this plugin. One is the designer and one is the menu. Now, I'm going to explain to you and read off directly from Heavyocity's site what these different sections are intended for. So, in the overall idea of the app, what's included is 72 multi-sampled and tempo-synced rhythmic pedals, really awesome, 24 multi-sampled basses, 24 multi-sampled leads, 72 tonal, atonal, and drone textures, 72 tonal and atonal stings, 36 modular synth noises, glitches, and rips, and 36 transitions, which includes risers and dives. All things that are really integral to that Doom sound, that dark synthy aggressive / metal sound, and also really applies well to sound design for filmmaking. It also has 350 custom designed presets, which again, like I said, there's so many of them, and 2 unique engines, which is the designer and the menu. So, the Oblivion Designer is an intuitive browser to load in 330 plus sources in 3 banks. There's a macro knob for dynamic multi-parameter control and sequencing, per channel effects controls for envelope, tone, drive, motion, and space, an advanced mixer with drift, scatter, and recordable automation, which is really integral, and I'll show you that later. Performance controls for tempo sync, start times, and sequencing. Again, another way to have your sound or whatever you craft and create just to change over time. There's a custom master effects with punish, compression, reverb, delay, and more. And there's a settings page to fine-tune legato, glide, sustain, velocity, and so much more. Now that is the designer engine of this plugin. The menu engine of this plugin includes 36 keys mapped with individual sounds for easy curation. Quickly build your own menus with the intuitive browser for over 1,000 sources. Map a single sound to the entire keyboard with the expand source, and I'll talk about that a little bit later. Per source filter, EQ, volume, pan, and tuning. Macro and effects controls, and custom master effects. So, as you can tell, there is a whole lot to this plugin. So much to this plugin that, again, I'm going to forget some things, but let's do a visual overlook now and walkthrough of this plugin, now that you know what's included. So let's start with the designer. So there are different sections to the designer, and as you can see, here's the 3 banks up at the top, labeled 1, 2, and 3, and they've got different sounds loaded in, and if you play something on your keyboard, look at that, I've got a pedal going already. And it does different rhythmic pedals. And if you got the blue here, right? So you can already craft a really cool sound just from the default sound. And this is the overall general main page, if that makes sense. This is the default. So you can already get some really cool sounds with the default. Now, as you can see at the bottom, you have your envelope, you have your tone, you have your drive, you have your motion, and you have your space. Now, those are your macro controls to do different things to whatever sound you're working on. And as you can see, as these sliders move for these macro controls, you'll notice that this wheel here with also smaller sections of things that you can adjust is just ever changing. And that's kind of the purpose of this wheel. It controls these macros down here so that you can have an ever changing and developing sound. So all these macros are connected to different aspects with this wheel that just allow it to change over time. And if you're not someone who's familiar with synthesizers and macros and LFOs and stuff like that, this can be really confusing. That's why there are so many presets. But if you're that kind of person that likes to design your own sound, this has every tool you would possibly need to do so. So that's kind of the main front section here. If we go over to the next tab down here, you've got the next section with that automation thing that I was talking about earlier. And so now you've got the same sound, right? But you can change it with this wheel in the middle. So whatever you do in this wheel will mix between the different sounds in these three presets or these banks in different ways. You can have a dead center to have an even mix of all of them, or you can just kind of go wherever on this orb. But the fun thing is the automation section. So you can set an amount of bars that you would want to automate this thing to, and by default it's at 4. So what you can do is you can hit record, and as soon as you start playing something, you're going to want to attach to this so that you can line it up perfectly. But I'm going to sit here and adjust the sound. As you can see, that orange bar was filling up as we were recording, and now it's playing back. I'm not doing a thing. It recorded everything that I was doing with that wheel for 4 bars. And as you can see, the orange bar filling up under the word automate, that's how you can track where it's at when you're recording it and where it's at as you're playing. So that allows you to have this ever-changing sound even more. So now I can play something. And it's going to follow that automated changer there in the middle. And I find that really, really cool to really craft your own sound. And the fact that you can change the amount of bars makes it amazing. You could put in, like, I don't know, 32 bars maybe. I don't know what the highest is on this thing or the lowest, but you can adjust this to 4 bars, I guess. 4 bars is the highest. Never mind. So you can change it through 4 bars. That's fine. Plenty of time to do some crazy stuff. You'll also have the random section here at the side here that adjusts the drift and scatter of your sound. So it'll do different things with delay and how this thing moves. So you can see how it's bouncing back and forth. The drift is like how far it moves, as you can see here. And if I change it more, it's going to drift even more on the repeat and move around. The scatter changes how far it's going to scatter around randomly and do different things with your sound. It's just another way to randomize your sound and really craft, again, an ever-changing sound. So there's all of that with that section. Then you got the next section here with your macro sequencer, which adjusts to different macros and changes them accordingly. Now you've got the same wheel as earlier, and that's just something that's kind of tied in with this step sequencer here. Now this is just another way to change and shape your sound. So as you can see, as this goes up on this triangle here, you'll notice that this wheel is also going up, and as this goes down on the triangle, you'll see that this wheel is going down. So they are in sync with each other, and this is how you can adjust your sound in different ways as well. And you'll notice that, again, as I said earlier, all of these knobs at the bottom for the macros of tone, drive, and motion are also changing. So those are linked with the sequencer here and the wheel on the left-hand side. And this is just adjusting how this wheel and these macros at the bottom are changing over time. So I can go over here at the top of where the sequencer is, and I can change the rate to be different things. And you can see the wheel is going faster because now it's going by 16th notes or 64th notes. Now it's going to change really fast, or you can go back to quarters and have it change at a quarter note pace. You can also adjust the amount of steps that you have in this with where it's going to change, so you can really have it change over longer periods of time and do different things. You can also switch it from retrigger to retrigger the sound, legato, which is what its default set to, free run, where it goes all over, and a one shot, which just all are different ways to trigger the samples and sources that you have selected. Now, the biggest thing with the sequencer is the shape section. So you can adjust the shape to a triangle, which is kind of the default, a comb, which is on and off essentially, ramp up, which is a build up, ramp down, which is going down, and then clear, which is nothing, so you can start from a base, and random, so it just scatters and does random things to your sound. And adjust the macros and everything in different ways to give you a different sound. You've got the amount here, which adjusts how far things will move. So you can see here it's not moving as far on the wheel. And if I crank it up even more, it's going to go further. So it just kind of changes how wide the parameters will change. And then you've got the smooth section here, which just adjusts things to be a little more smooth in between different steps. So with it turned off, as you can see, this is just jumping between steps. And it's much more staccato. But if I change the smooth all the way up, it's kind of like turning the wheel in between and smoothing out between steps. So that just kind of is another way to adjust your sound over time. You've got the macro LFO down here at the bottom. So this adjusts all the different parameters with your LFO. And you can do all sorts of different things like drive and tone, motion, space. All of these do different things to your sound. Again, it can be very, very confusing, but this is just another way to shape your tone. Now, that section's covered in a general stance. We'll go to the fourth section here with the wave and sequencer. Now, this is another way to change your sound. So, you have samples in here, and this is what it's playing from, right? So, you can change the start of where the sample starts from. So, I'll move it here. Right? So that's where it's going to start when you play. It's always going to start from this flag where you put it. Now, you've got a sync here with your tempo. You can start random at different spots when you're playing. So you can see that orange knob every time I hit the note again. It's starting at a different spot. You can also change the tempo to be half a speed, regular speed, or twice as fast, right? So that's a cool tool to change the sound even more. And then at the top, you can switch from the wave mode to the sequencer mode. All right. So the sequencer mode is another way to change your sound. That's kind of a running theme with this entire plugin. So you have these two sections here with your velocity and the start. So it's another way, again, to shape your sound. So this is going to adjust the velocity of the sound, how loud it's being played, and how aggressive the sound is. Right? And do different things to the sound. Now, this right here is going to change that start point on the wave, as we mentioned earlier, right? This is the flag thing that adjusts where the sound starts when it's triggered. With the sequencer, that does the same thing here. So, as you can see at the top, when I play that, as those bars go up and down, you'll notice up here, this orange line where the sound is starting is jumping all over the place. And that's what these bottom bars are controlling. So you can set it to be like mostly across the board. And it's going to start in the same spot. Right. And then if I want it to drop down low or something like that, watch the orange thing here at the top. It's going to stay there. And then boom, all of a sudden it's at the beginning. So again, another way to shape your sound, but just in the most simplest form, you can adjust your velocity to be whatever you want. And then I can do like something like this and have it jump all over the place and play. And the velocity is all the way up, or I can randomize everything again. And it adjusts everything to make it unique to whatever you want it to be. And again, it's still got the 3 banks at the bottom, so you can adjust things as you go through with your sound. The same 3 banks are always going to be there. And I didn't even talk about those yet, but there's basic controls on here, like you can solo out each one individually. You can mute different ones. You can adjust the volume, so you can adjust the mix between the 2 or the 3. You can pan them left and right, and you can detune them in different ways. And that's kind of across the board whenever those banks are up. Now, next section here is the whole like library, and this is where you can start to pick different sounds. So you've got your categories here and your type, right? So you've got rhythmic pedals that show straight and triplet types, playables, basses and leads, sustains, you've got drones, tonal pads and atonal pads, stings, you've got tonal, atonal stings, modular, glitches and noises and rips, which are all, to me, sound design, a pleasantry and ear candy. And you've also got transitions, so tension builders like risers and deep dives for when stuff wants to hit, or just like a big bass drop or something like that. So there's a million things you can pull from. And as you can see on the right hand side here with where the banks are, you can drop your sources in there. So these are the 3 by default that are in there. But let's say I want to throw a different rhythmic pedal in there. I will go to dystopian radio, right? And just drag it over here. Bam, dystopian radio's there. Now let's get like a sustain and a tonal pad, and we'll do spectral shadows and throw that there. Bam. And now let's get a playable lead, and we'll throw Fryhammer into there. Now that's going to change the sound completely from what you've been hearing so far. Right? So we got a different sound now. So this is a way that you can go through different sounds and kind of craft your own atmospheric running sound, whatever you want to do. From all of these different presets and sources that they have, you can craft your own sound. So this is a really cool way to do it. Now that you have those 3 picked, we can go back to the other sections and we can adjust all of our macro sequences and our automation and the macros here at the bottom, everything again, now that we have our own sound, and do some different stuff with it, right? So now I picked things at random, so they may not work together that well, but if you go through and listen to everything else, you'll be able to pick things that you want to be. So there are also sections here to adjust the sound over in the banks here with the high and low cut stuff, and you've got the actual notes that you can pick here with where you want things to be on the keyboard. Down here, this is a section that adjusts the different sounds and stuff and where they're played on your keyboard. This really only applies if you're using your mouse or something to click down here, or you have a full-size keyboard. I do not. I just have my MIDI keyboard, which is three octaves, but it's very limited. So I have to use the octave button on mine a lot to play through different stuff. If I want to play down here and I want to play a blues section, I got to jump up a couple octaves to be able to play that. I still can, but it's a little more cumbersome. But as you can see, you can adjust the sounds and stuff to your keyboard where you want them to be played, and they're color coded. So the green and the red are respectfully with dystopian radio and spectral shadows, and the blue section here is with Fryhammer, that lead. So you can adjust those and change different parameters for where things are. So if I wanted to change the Fryhammer to apply all the way with down here as well, I can do that. And as you can see, the colors blend on the piano in contact. So if I go low, it's playing all 3 sounds with every note. But if I wanted to adjust the spectral shadows to be up high instead with like some of the drones, now it's up there. And this is just a way to map out on your keyboard for ultimate playability and mixing them in different ways. If you want the drones and the pads and the rhythmic pedals to play at the same time and have the leads over here at a different section. Again, another way to shape your tone, but also to make it efficient for you to play live, right? If you don't want to sit there and write out the MIDI with mouse and clicking everything individually note by note, and you want to play on a keyboard, this just makes things a little bit easier and more customized to what you want it to be. Now, we've got the effects section at the end here, and this allows you to add different effects to your sound, your overall sound, right? So I'm going to go back here, and I'm going to go hit the default again, reset everything back to the designer, because my sound that I crafted at random I don't think was very great. So we're back to the regular sound again. And this adjusts different things. So as you can see, there's some reverb and delay, some EQ, modulation, compression, punish, and filter for low cut and low pass and stuff like that. You've also got tilt. I'm not sure what resp is, or tone, but that's all like different things with this knob, I believe, has to do with punish, I believe. So the punish is what makes things really, really aggressive, and it's labeled here, punish. If you turn it off, I don't think it'll do anything now. It's not going to adjust anything, but punish, bam, is like the ludicrous speed button, the nuclear drop. It just changes everything to that aggressive tone, and crank it all the way. And it just punishes that sound. And again, you've got all these different things here that you can add to your effects chain. So you've got filters here with low pass, high pass, peak, notch, vox, like all these different things that you can do and change the cutoff and the resonance of everything. So if you need to mix a little bit this sound in the box, you can do that. That helps with not overcoming your PC if you're doing a whole cue, a whole entire song mix, right? And then you've got compression. You've got all the parameters down here with compression, with feedback and the bus compression. So threshold, ratio, attack, release, makeup, your usual compression stuff. And you've got the mix knob underneath. Modulation, you've got chorus, flanger, phaser, and you can have all the different parameters changed on those. You got an EQ here. Again, you can shape the sound even more, and you can adjust the gain, frequency, all that of all your different stuff. So you can have three bands, it looks like here, of EQ and the gain of each of them. And then you got the amount of EQ added in. You've got a delay for vintage, pitch, and reverse. So there's a lot of different things that you can change here with those if you want to add some delay to your sound. And then you've got reverb for room and hall, and you've got your typical settings for reverb, all of which are another way to shape your sound. So this whole plugin is like sound design, right? This is what this is. So you can play the presets for sure and make some stuff, but it's really made for sound design. So you can craft your own stuff and give you every tool possible to do so. And that's why I love it. Now, we just got through designer. Now let's go through menu. I know that was a lot to get through, but trust me, it's worth it. And thank you for sticking with me throughout this entire thing. So now, this is the menu, right? So now we've got a sound here. And as you can see, when I play these sounds, as I play them across the keyboard, you'll see the name of that sample up at the top and the waveform of it in the middle. On the left, you've got filters that you can add to this sound and some EQ. Now, this is what I was talking about in the beginning of the video with being able to expand a sound source to the entire keyboard. So right now, the bottom of the keyboard down here on the bottom left is setting what note is being played every time you play an orange or a blue note. So they're all going to be the same no matter what note you play. So this is set to a C. So if I play a B flat up here, it's technically a C. If I jump up, it's C, 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 C. They are all different samples tied to each of these keys, all set to the note C. So this is just a way you can play through all of the different presets going note by note. The note's not going to change unless you automate stuff down here, but this allows you to kind of sort through the different samples one by one. RIP to your ears for that one, but it allows you to play through all of the different sources and for whatever note you want. And now you can adjust the note if you want it to be like a low G or something, right? Now all the notes that you play with these two sections are going to be a G, right? But let's say you found the sound that you like, the depth charge impact. I do really like that one. If you wanted to be able to play a different note than G and not try to automate this stuff down low, this is really for kind of browsing most likely, you can hit this button up here called expand source to keys, right? Now this expands it to, 2 octaves, it looks like. I mean, 3 technically, but 2 full octaves. To be able to play that thing that you last played across the keys. Now it's going to be different notes, right? So if I get my keyboard down in that range, so now I can play a B flat, or I can play an E flat. It's hard to tell with this note, but, or a D or whatever, and it's going to be a different note. Let's pick something that you can tell a little better, like this. We'll pick interference. Expand it to the keyboard. Now we can play an F sharp, or we can play a B, or we can play a G, or an E flat. So we took that sound that we heard from the bank earlier of going through all of them, and we expanded it to the whole keyboard and allows you to play it. So that's something that's really cool and just an easier way to browse the different sounds and then apply it if you want to play it. Now, these also have different sections here, just like the designer does. So now over here, we've got a very similar interface to the first page on the designer, but this is going to be for one sound, right? So you've got the one bank here. We've got that interface sound that we've been playing. And I don't think it changes if I go back and de-expand this. It still stays as the last thing you played. So I'm going to expand it just for easier playability and explanation. So now this is just the same thing with all your different macros here that you can adjust, and it's going to allow you to adjust every single parameter in different ways with all of the different sections down here. And I didn't talk about this in Designer, but you can expand each macro with the envelope and change the envelope and all the parameters with it. And with your tone, you've got ways to shape it. Drive, you've got your saturation with tube tape and distortion. Motion, you've got a gate with an LFO on there and your pitch and stuff. And then space, you've got your delay and reverb. So you can expand these and adjust those sounds even more to shape your sound, again, in different ways. And this can adjust everything however you want. And yeah, that's kind of a lot. So then you can go to the next section, which is familiar from earlier. This is your LFO macro sequencer. So you can sequence all the different macros and everything in different ways, just like any kind of synthesizer. And like I explained earlier, it's the same settings here that you can pick for the LFO in your macro sequence to change things. So you can shape it here and do a triangle. So now when I play, it's going to change the tone with the LFO, and it's going to shape everything according to this wheel, right? So yeah, it's really cool. It's familiar from earlier. And then we've also got the section here that you can go through all of the sources again if you wanted to change it and you don't want to have to play each note from earlier back in the beginning section here. You like go back and change this and then find a different note or something. I lost the note that I had. But, you know, again, this is just another way to go through those sounds as opposed to just playing them on the keyboard. And again, if you find something you like erratic data, you can drag that over here and set it different notes and stuff, and you can play whatever you want up on the right register and have stuff just work. So this is just another way to sample through all of the different sources that are included in this plugin. And then again, you've got the effects section again for the menu to adjust your sound and all the different parameters that I talked about a few minutes ago, and help you to change your tone and your sound and craft all the awesomeness that is included in this plugin. The possibilities are literally endless. Okay, so now that the big scary section of this plugin feature is over, and we've gone through every aspect that this plugin has to offer, not including all the stuff that I most likely forgot. But as you can tell, this plugin goes far, deep, and wide. There's a lot to this, and it can be overwhelming. But if you skipped that section and you're just coming to this one, now we're going to be checking out a bunch of the presets. So stuff that you don't have to go as in-depth with. Stuff that's just ready for you to play and create cool sounds. So all of you sound design nerds, which does include myself, that watch that beginning section, have fun crafting your own sounds. Now the people that want to just hear the presets are here to listen and have some fun. So we're going to go over here to the banks, and we're going to go to the menu, and let's play some rhythmic pedals, shall we? Let's do some straight rhythmic pedals, huh? So let's play something down here. Oh yeah, that one's cool. Let's play. So there's a whole lot of these. And now let's pick one that we thought was really cool and expand it to the whole keyboard here. Now we can play it melodically. Ooh, try not to play them at the same time, or at least exactly the same. So cool. Instantly cool vibes already. Now, let's do some different stuff. Let's go into playables, huh? Let's do some basses. Let's hear some bass tones that we can get with this plugin, shall we? I like that one. Oh, it's just so good. God, all I can think about is making my own Doom soundtrack with this stuff. It's so good. And oh, it's so good. So let's pick that last one and expand it to the whole menu. And now we can go. It's so aggressive and so good. Let's check out some leads, shall we? I like that one. So let's do it again. Let's expand it and we'll play it. Maybe. Couldn't hit the low note, but... It's just like these sounds are too good. You know what I mean? Like they're too good. And you can do so much with them. We find that sound we like, the chanting souls, right? And we want to change it and add some difference to it. Let's just like nightmare punish all the way. Or let's go gentle down low, huh? Oh, it's so good. It's so good. It's so freaking good. Oh, I love it so much. And then, you know, we want to change, let's just change the macro sequence to like random and it just, all these sounds are so good. Then you've got sustains, right? And sustains are really cool as well. Let's do atonal, shall we? If we get it, yeah, there we go. So slow attack. There's just... And I know you hear it just as much as me with that, creating a dark horror atmosphere when you're in those dark zones in Doom, or even if you want to use this to write some horror sound design or soundtracks for like filmmaking, like I've said, which I see a lot of uses for this in my filmmaking as well, and the style of filmmaking that I like to make. But that's all atonal, right? So now you've got tonal stuff, right? So again, all the same stuff. This is just more like melodically placed. So you find something that you like and you expand it and have a little more of the fundamental note with it, you know? So you can create chords and stuff and have it be a sustained texture, as opposed to the atonal, not really having a tonal center. So you can kind of just place things wherever. And I still think you can... expand it if you wanted to play notes technically. Not sure it would really come out, because as you can see I'm playing a C minor and it's not really a C minor chord because they're atonal sounds and stuff. So that's really cool, and I know I'm going to be using those quite a lot for my filmmaking stuff. Then you've got stings, and these are atonal ones as well. These are really good for hitting moments and like accenting specific moments in music or film. So they're really good for impact and very specific moments in something you're working on. And then you've got modular noises, like white noise. All these really aggressive, cool sounds, right? And tonal. I like that one a lot, so I can expand that one, right? But, oh. They're just all so freaking good, in my opinion. Then you got transitions, which are risers and dives, right? So, build up to a moment. Now you got some dives. Some dives in there, huh? Oh, just the applications that you can use with this. Not only for music, but sound design for film. That gets me excited on both fronts. And then you've also got combos, which is like a combination of different sounds put together. Like I said, usually better played on a larger keyboard, but if I wanted to go through here and right, it allows you to build these massive soundscapes, and this one has 3 sounds in here. It's so good. Rocking the core. What do we got for rocking the core, baby? Oh, yeah. Okay, so my battery on my camera has died numerous times now recording this video because it is taking so long to go through everything in this plugin. That should tell you just how much there is to offer with this plugin. So I am like on my 3rd or 4th battery charge to get this video done, but we're still going to check out some more presets here. We got tonal bliss sections here for straight tonal bliss. And if we do, got some rhythmic pedals. There's just so much that you can do, and then you got tonal bliss with triplets, right? So this is just triplet rhythmic stuff. So you can just like easily create these atmospheric pads and like rhythmic stuff to keep the motion going and the tempo up and all that fun stuff. Like there's so much you can do with this plugin. And oh man, like this single pedals straight, you got all the different samples on their own as well that you can go through with the menu. So you've got all the different stuff here with the pedals, basses, leads, atonal, and tonal sustains and all that. So you've got the different playables that you can technically go through. And this essentially just lists all of the stuff from earlier when I was going through the basses and stuff that were all assigned a specific key, but then I could expand it. Doing this in the menu essentially just lists all of those and the key that they're attributed to from earlier. If you want to go through them that way as well. And yeah, like there's so much to this. It's so hard to really get through everything and anything, but there's so much to this plugin and so many cool sounds. And again, you can just go through endless amounts of presets. Like I said, there's like what, 350 of them or something like that, plus and then some, and 1,000 sources. There's so much. I can't hit everything in this video, but I hope that I sold you on at least some of the sounds of this plugin. I am really excited to create some cool stuff with this plugin, just synth-wise and atmosphere-wise for both my music and my filmmaking for like sound design. and throwing some metal stuff in there too if I want to, but I can honestly sit with this plugin alone and create some soundscapes for film and video games like Doom, and even just parts of music and songs in general. You could probably do an entire song with just this single plugin right here and have enough texture and coverage of drones and pedals for rhythmic stuff, so you don't need drums necessarily. You can adjust those even more and add more attack and stuff if you want them to be even more percussive. This is a synthesizer as well, so you can change and craft your tone however you want. You've got basses, you've got leads, you've got stings and transitions to accent things and transition between parts and all that. Like, there's so much to this plugin, and you can craft every parameter you can think of to make things your own. And again, I am absolutely in love with this plugin, and I'm going to be using it in literally everything from my filmmaking to my songwriting. And I am so glad I got made noticed of this on Instagram, and I'm really happy to Heavyocity for working with me on this and providing this plugin for me to showcase to you guys today. So thank you so much, Heavyocity. Again, that doesn't affect my opinion of this plugin whatsoever. They're not paying me to say anything. They just sent me a free copy of this to check out and to showcase to you guys, and I am so glad that we have been able to work together. This is an amazing, amazing plugin, and I don't think it's too crazy expensive for what you get in this plugin. Actually, there is a cost of, I think, $150. Yeah, it's $149 to get this entire plugin and everything that it offers. In my opinion, that is completely worth it. Yes, I got this for free technically, but I would gladly pay $150 for this because it is so good. I've paid $150 for one of the Neural DSP plugins for just my guitar. This is an entire sound design writing tool. It's even better than that. And I think it's well worth it. If you are into that Doom style music, if you're into synths, if you're into dark, aggressive music, this is a plugin you absolutely need to have in your toolkit, because you will find more uses for it in almost everything that you do every time that you use it again. So let me know what you guys think of this plugin down in the comments. Thank you for sticking with me through this very in-depth video. I know it's going to be quite long, so if you've stuck with me this far, thank you so much. It means a lot, but I really hope you like this plugin. Thank you guys so much for liking, commenting, and subscribing. I will see you guys in the next video, and probably a few more videos with some of this Oblivion plugin, because it is just nice.